The rain had always made Mira feel lonelier than she wanted to admit. It wasn't the sound or the cold. It was the way it blurred everything, softening edges, hiding things. Rain had a way of turning certainty into guesswork. She realized this as she stood beneath the cracked bus stop shelter on Willow Road, watching water drip steadily from the roof while the empty street stretched out like a forgotten thought. Daniel had promised he'd meet her here. That was 3 hours ago. 3 long hours of watching buses come and go, each stop winding her chest a little tighter when he didn't appear. At first, she made excuses for him, because Mira was good at making excuses for people she cared about. Traffic, a work emergency, a dead phone, something, anything that wasn't abandonment. But somewhere, between the second and third hour, she stopped pretending. By the time the streetlights flickered on, dim halos trembling in the rain, the truth settled over her with the same damp heaviness soaking through her coat. Daniel wasn't coming, and not because he forgot or ran late. Because Daniel had been leaving her long before this night. Before Daniel left her standing alone, she could still picture the first time she met him. It felt painfully small now, but at the time, it felt like the start of something bright. She had just moved into town, carrying loneliness like a hidden bruise. Daniel had been the first person to see her. Really see her. His smile was easy, in a practiced way, the kind that made strangers feel welcome and lost girls feel chosen. They met at a bakery on Maple Street. Mira had ordered a lemon tart without thinking, and Daniel had leaned his elbow on the counter. Smirking. "Careful with those," he'd said. "One bite, and you'll crave them forever." She laughed, quiet, surprised. He bought her one. The next week they split one. The week after, she found herself timing her visits to the bakery at the same hour he appeared. Daniel was good at attention in small doses. Warm texts at midnight, walks home after work, hand brushing hers when she wasn't expecting it. He was less good at consistency. The cracks showed slowly. A cancelled plan here, a forgotten promise there. He always had charming explanations, and Mira, soft-hearted, willing to believe the best, accepted each one. She stayed because she didn't know yet that she was allowed to want more, to ask for more, to not shrink herself into a shape someone else found convenient. In the last month, his excuses piled high enough to scrape the ceiling. He stopped showing up for their Sunday pastries, stopped answering calls, stopped being the person she thought she knew. But when he did appear, he was sweet again, sunny again, enough to make her doubt her doubts. So when he told her to meet him on Willow Road, "We need to talk, Mira," she felt a fragile flame of hope flicker to life. But hope could only hold up for so long. And after 3 hours, it guttered out for good. Mira turned away from the bus stop, walking toward town with tired steps. Shops were shuttered for the night, windows glowing faintly with lives she wasn't part of. She felt strangely hollow, not because Daniel didn't show up, but because she finally realized how long she had been holding herself together for someone who didn't hold her back. She passed the bakery, now dark and empty. Her breath caught, not for Daniel, but for the version of herself who had been small enough to confuse crumbs for love. A soft sound tugged her from her thoughts. A quiet mule from under a porch swing. A stray cat huddled beneath it, shivering. Mira crouched down, offering her scarf. The cat's green eyes were wary, then hopeful. "You're abandoned too, huh?" she whispered. The cat rubbed against her hand, purring weakly. She lifted it gently, holding the tiny heartbeat close. Something softened inside her. "Okay," she murmured. "Let's go home." For the first time in months, the decision felt like hers. The knock on the door. Later, in the quiet warmth of her apartment, the cat curled on her sofa, and Mira wrapped herself in a blanket, letting the stillness unwind her nerves. She had barely taken a sip of tea when a knocking rattled the door. 3 taps. Pause. 2 taps. Her spine stiffened. That rhythm. She hadn't heard it in years. Mira stood slowly, heartbeat in her throat, and opened the door. Rain clung to the man on her porch, dripping from dark hair, soaking the shoulders of a worn jacket. He was older now, stronger, broader, but his eyes were unmistakable. Rowan Hale, the boy who had been her shadow and her daring companion. The boy she'd trusted with her childhood secrets. The boy who had disappeared without warning when they were 16. And the man who now stood before her looked like he'd been walking through storms ever since. "Mira," he breathed. Relief and something like fear tangled in his voice. "I finally found you." She opened her mouth, but the night surged before she could speak. A low groan rose from the trees behind him. Deep, unnatural, crawling along the air. Rowan stiffened. "Mira, we need to go inside." He stepped in without waiting for permission and locked every bolt with practiced urgency. "What's happening?" she whispered. Rowan looked at her with an expression that was too intense, too familiar, and layered with exhaustion she didn't understand. "Mira, you don't remember everything. The road doesn't want you to." "What does that mean?" Before he could answer, a scraping sound dragged across the outside wall. Long, heavy, inhuman. The cat hissed. Fur bristling, Rowan grabbed Mira's wrist. "We can't stay here. Come with me." She didn't argue. The house that remembered her. They ran through the rain, cutting across fields, until an old, abandoned farmhouse rose in the dark. One Mira vaguely remembered exploring as a kid. Rowan ushered her inside and down a narrow staircase. Cold air wrapped around them. Mira froze. The root cellar. It pulsed with dread. Recognition crawled along her skin. "I've been here," she whispered. "Haven't I?" Rowan nodded, jaw tight. "This is where he kept you." "Kept me?" Mira choked. "Who?" Rowan's voice softened, breaking. "Your father." The world tilted. "No." "He died when I was little." Rowan shook his head. "That's what he wanted people to believe." The creature slammed against the cellar door. Boards cracked. "Mira," Rowan said urgently, stepping in front of her. "There's more. Your father tried to give you to the road." "That's insane." "No," Rowan whispered. "But I wish it were." He reached for her hand. "You told me your real name once. Your first name. Before you disappeared. Before everything changed. My real name?" she stammered. "My name is Mira." "That's a nickname," Rowan said. "Your mother gave you another name. A powerful one." The door burst inward. A shadowed creature crawled down the stairs. Twisted limbs, hollow face, empty eyes. Rowan braced himself, shielding her. "Mira," he said steadily. "The road stole your name so it could keep you. Say it. Remember it. It's the only way to break its hold." "I can't." "Yes, you can." Rowan insisted, drawing closer. Rain dripped from his hair, trailing down his cheek. Look at me. She looked. The fear softened. Something warm rose in her chest, an emotional flash she hadn't felt since childhood. Rowan's voice dropped to a whisper. We were close. Before everything, you trusted me, and I promised I'd find you. His thumb brushed her cheek with almost reverent tenderness. I'm here now. Say your name. The creature lunged. A memory broke loose. Her mother's voice. A lullaby. A name spoken like love. Mirabel. Her breath caught my name. Her voice trembled. Is Mirabel. The creature shrieked, spasming violently. Rowan stepped back, eyes shining. Again, Mirabel straightened. My name is Mirabel. Light, cold, white, impossible, ripped through the cellar. The creature dissolved into smoke and sank into the floor, leaving silence in its wake. The road exhaled. Mirabel's knees gave out. Rowan caught her instantly, arms strong around her. You did it, he whispered, voice thick with relief. You're free. Mirabel looked up at him, rain-soaked, breathless, familiar in all the ways she didn't know she had missed. You came back for me, she whispered. Rowan cupped her face, thumb brushing a tear from her cheek. I never stopped. Something in her broke, softly, finally, in the way things break right before they heal. She rose onto her toes and kissed him. Rain drummed the roof above them. The cellar hummed with the last fading echo of the road's power, and Rowan held her, kissed her back, steady and warm and real, as if he had been waiting years for this moment. When they parted, breath mingling, he murmured her true name, Mirabel. She shivered, not from fear, from finally remembering who she was. And somewhere above them, Willow Road went quiet, as if releasing her at last.